Hello. I just wanted to do a little, kind of a quick little rundown with in astrology of actually Vedic astrology, a little bit more than Western astrology. I more study the Western astrology myself, but I'm learning about Vedic astrology a little bit. One thing about it is it doesn't have Uranus. It only goes up to Saturn, and then the other planets that are outside of Saturn aren't really included in the Vedic astrology. So, with Aquarius, there, or Kumbha, they call Aquarius's ruler Saturn in Vedic astrology, which it's actually Uranus in your Western astrology. And so, but the thing is that before they discovered Uranus, they only saw out till Saturn, and Saturn kind of took on all of the aspects, all of the things of Uranus and other planets. It like kind of, the, when they discovered Uranus, they sort of separated what they considered Saturn representing, and gave Uranus some of that. And so, yeah, that's a big part of it. Is like just older. It's just older than knowing when Uranus was, right? Knowing about Uranus at the time. Anyway, so in Vedic astrology, Aquarius, the ruler is Saturn. Kumbha is the name in Sanskrit, Kumbha. It's scientific. Aquarius is scientific, visionary, humane, factual, intellectual, democratic, eccentric, global, and misunderstood. They in the Ayurvedic, in your doshas, it represents the Vata and the Kapha, which is Vata is air or in your head, and Kapha is like your structure, your lower kind of your bones and stuff like that. And it's an air, which it is an air, yes. Aquarius is an air sign. So air is mentality and thought processes. It's a lot of in your head. You know, when you get in your head, you're like in your vata, you're in your energy, you're high in your head all the time. Vata has a lot of like head issues, like headaches and those kinds of things. Are people with a high who are vata dosha. Okay, so Aquarius right now is in our first house as for our daily chart. I'm in America, and so I cast the chart for the day just for being here in this country. And I didn't do it on the level of, oh, what's the birth date of the U.S., because it's not really where I'm at. I'm more about what's the daily energy, and where are we going. It's not about, oh, where is our country going. I can see where our country's going. It's going to shit. No, sorry. I don't mean it. Yes, I do, but not really. I'm trying to not let it go to shit. That's the point, right? We want to not let it go to shit, although it really feels like it is. So Saturn, so our first house is basically our ascendant house, our rising. A lot of people call it those kinds of things, different things like that, our ascendant or our rising sign. It's how others see you. It's the first house is your house of self, and so it's like the beginning, the beginning house of where you're at, and okay, so we have Saturn. I have Saturn. It's not in the first house, but it's actually in the second house. But I just wanted to read it because they're in Vedic astrology. It connects with Aquarius. Okay, so Saturn is Shani. Saturn is controlling. It's manifestation and work. It's impediments, impediments. contracted. It's a resource management, detail oriented, obstructions, time, degradation. It's also Vata Kapha, which seems kind of logical with the Aquarius. Okay. This is the Saturn here. Saturn card. I just pulled these from the Vedic Astrology deck. More on I did the chart. I laid out the chart for the day, and then I pulled these cards, representative cards for the interpretation a little bit. Okay, so the first house in Vedic astrology is called the living room. It's Tano, or the body. And it's your appearance, your disposition, your eccentricities, your personality, your beauty, your strength, your constitution, your stature, and your self-esteem. It's the head, and it's sattva. So, yeah, the living room, first house in Vedic astrology. It actually looks like this on the chart. That's the Vedic astrology chart right there. And how they name the different houses. Banas. Departments of life. Yeah, that's the living room. Which just to me feels like, it's where people sit when they're greeting, right? When you're having guests in your house, they sit in the living room. That's where it's the outward appearance. It's not necessarily your inner truth. Anyway, that was my little reading, and I hope you enjoyed it. Yeah. Maybe you learned something, maybe you didn't. Maybe it'll help give you a little insight. All right, have a good day. Love you.